Welcome back, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for another explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a seriously mind-bending chapter of ancient Indian literature that, quite frankly, reads exactly like a massive blockbuster science fiction script. We're going to unpack an incredible battle between a legendary hero and a ruthless invader. And listen, we aren't just talking about your standard swords and shields here. We're talking about flying metallic vehicles, advanced ballistics, and literal reality-warping technology. It's a fantastic journey, and we're going to break it all down step by step, using exactly what was written in the ancient source text.
Okay, just picture this for a second. You're standing on a battlefield, but the sky above you completely shatters. As the text describes, the dome of heaven blazed as with 100 suns and thousands and 10,000s of stars. This isn't just a poetic metaphor for a sunny day. No, this is a vivid, entirely disorienting depiction of an explosive battlefield suspended over the ocean where the very fabric of reality seems to be fracturing. But, to understand how we get to this blinding cosmic climax, we have to go back to where the conflict actually begins.
Section 1. The Ruined City, a Devastating Homecoming.
Okay, let's dive into this contrast. That blazing sky we just talked about, that comes much later. Our story actually kicks off with a completely devastating homecoming. The hero of our text, Vasudeva, has just returned to the city of the Undeterred, known as Dwaraka, right after finishing the great royal Rajasuya sacrifice. He's expecting to find his home thriving, right? A place filled with splendor, the continuous sounds of Vedic recitations, sacrificial offerings, and these breathtakingly beautiful gardens. But instead, he finds absolute devastation. The city is completely shorn of its splendor. There are no sounds of offering anywhere. The gardens are devoid of beauty, and the people are described as destitute of ornaments and entirely woebegone. It's this sudden silence and tragedy that really sets the stage for everything that follows. Section 2. The Vow of Vengeance, targeting Salwa. So obviously alarmed by the state of his city, Vasudeva speaks with Kritavarman, the son of Hritika, and learns that an invader named Salwa is responsible for this whole nightmare. Vasudeva gathers the chief heroes of the Vrishni race and makes a totally solemn vow. He tells them to stay back and protect the city, declaring, "I return not to the city of Dwarvadi without slaying him." But get this, he doesn't just want to defeat Salwa. He vows to compass the destruction of Salwa together with his car of precious metals. And right there, that introduces this incredible, almost futuristic target into our story, a flying metallic craft.
Now Vasudeva doesn't just quietly slip out the back gate. His departure is a massive sensory event. He commands his allies to strike up the sharp, middle, and flat notes of the Danduvi drum just to strike pure fear into his foes. He receives joyful blessings from the warriors, auspicious words from the Brahmanas, and bows reverently to Siva. Then he mounts his own impressive transport. He sets out on his chariot, which is yoked with the legendary horses Saivya and Sugriva, filling all sides with the deafening clatter of his wheels as he rapidly rides to war.
Section 3. The Ocean Pursuit, a massive chase.
Accompanied by his redoubted, victorious army, which is made up of 4 different kinds of forces, Vasudeva sets out on a sprawling pursuit. It's a huge geographical undertaking. He leaves the city behind, passes over mountains crowned with trees, and crosses numerous pieces of water, rivers, and streams. The momentum just continuously builds until he finally reaches the country of Matrikavarta. And it is here, right by the deep, heaving ocean, that he finally catches up with the invader.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale we're dealing with. When Vasudeva reaches the ocean, Salwa isn't just waiting on a beach or floating on a wooden boat. No, Salwa is inside his car of costly metals, hovering in the sky like some sort of ancient helicarrier amidst the deep heaving billows. And we're not talking about it hovering just a few feet off the ground. The text specifically notes that this metallic car was in the sky a full 2 miles off. It is an incredible visual. Just imagine an ancient aerial dreadnought floating literally miles about the crashing waves.
The moment Salwa spots Vasudeva from a distance, he challenges him, and the sky instantly erupts into chaos. We are talking about tens of thousands of projectiles completely blocking out the sun. Salwa's forces, the Asuras, start shooting thousands upon thousands of arrows in absolute torrents. They entirely cover Vasudeva's chariot, his horses, and his charioteer Dwaraka. In response, Vasudeva, who is described as superhumanly skilled in weapons, lets fly arrows by the tens of thousands from his own bow, inspiring them with ancient mantras. The sheer volume of fire is so intensely impossible that Vasudeva literally cannot even see his own horses or his charioteer through the cloud of weapons.
Meanwhile, because Salwa's car is literally 2 miles up in the air, Vasudeva's land army can't actually reach it.
So at first, they just stand on the battlefield looking on like spectators in an amusement place, cheering Vasudeva on with shouts loud as a lion's roar. But up in the sky, it becomes a dark, grim reality fast. Vasudeva's arrows penetrate the bodies of Salwa's Danava soldiers like biting insects. The dying soldiers, deprived of their arms and necks, actually plummet from the flying car. They send up these tremendous roars as they fall 2 miles straight down into the waters of the mighty ocean, where they are immediately devoured by the sea creatures swimming below.
Section 4. The War of Illusions, Altering Reality.
So, seeing his troops falling, Salwa shifts tactics. Vasudeva counters by powerfully blowing his Panchajanya conch, this beautiful shell obtained from the waters, white as milk, the moon, or silver, and the battle instantly escalates to an entirely new, terrifying level. Now, when the text says Salwa begins to fight with the help of illusion, we really have to understand what that word means in this specific context. It does not mean a cheap magic trick or a sleight of hand. Illusion warfare here means manipulating reality itself. It's altering the weather, shifting light, and materializing matter out of thin air to completely disorient and destroy the enemy. It's a devastating tactical manipulation of the entire battlefield environment.
Salwa unleashes an arsenal that genuinely boggles the mind. He ceaselessly hurls maces, winged darts, lances, javelins, battle axes, and swords. But then, and this is where it gets wild, the text mentions things that sound shockingly modern, like bullets from barrels, shafts, axes, and literal rockets. And when Vasudeva uses his own counter-illusions to destroy these weapons, Salwa just escalates again. He starts dropping literal mountain peaks onto the battlefield. The rapid-fire escalation here is incredibly cinematic. It is just astounding to read.
But the physical weapons are really just the beginning. Salwa starts manipulating the very atmosphere. We see rapid, terrifying shifts in the environment. Pitch darkness, then blinding light, searing hot, then freezing cold. The day violently swings from fair to incredibly gloomy, and it eventually culminates in a horrifying, perfect shower of coals, ashes, and weapons raining down from the sky. Every single time Salwa creates one of these environmental illusions, Vasudeva has to actively ascertain what's happening and instantly destroy it with a counter-illusion of his own.
Section 5. The Ultimate Weapon, the Pragnastra. It's right here that we reach that blistering quote from the beginning of our explainer. The dome of heaven blazes with 100 suns and 100 moons. The battlefield becomes completely saturated with chaotic light and energy. The text states that no one could ascertain whether it was day or night, or even distinguish the points of the horizon. Vasudeva himself admits he becomes completely bewildered. Which, raises the ultimate question. How do you fight an enemy you can no longer see? How on earth do you strike a flying car 2 miles high when you can't even tell where the sky ends and the earth begins? Well, to cut through this blinding chaos, Vasudeva has to rely on something truly extraordinary. Amidst all the overwhelming bewilderment, he reaches for a secret, ultimate countermeasure. He fixes a legendary, deeply mysterious weapon to his bowstring, known as the Pragnastra.
Now, the truly crucial point here is how this weapon actually operates. It doesn't cause some massive, louder explosion. Instead, the text gives us this incredibly poetic, almost peaceful description. The weapon went like unto flakes of pure cotton blown away by the winds. Isn't that wild? It's absolute, it's graceful, and it just completely wipes away the chaotic illusions. By deploying the Pragnastra, Vasudeva sweeps away the blazing suns, the unnatural darkness, the raining coals, and the ashes. The calm light is regained, allowing this grueling, monumental battle against the flying car to finally continue. And that brings us to the end of today's explainer. We've traced Vasudeva's tragic return to a ruined city, a sprawling chase across mountains and oceans, and a frankly unbelievable clash against a flying metallic car raining down rockets and bullets from 2 miles high. It's an incredibly rich narrative that beautifully blends mythical heroism with mind-boggling technological scale and illusion warfare. It really forces us to step back and ask, what other incredibly advanced, almost sci-fi concepts are hiding right now in the pages of our ancient texts? I highly encourage you to keep exploring, keep reading, and definitely keep asking questions. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you on the next one.